Hello everyone, welcome to Tridion Docs 15.1 Update 1 Bootcamp. In this session, I, Gizem Karabulut, and my colleague Andriy Zhidko will present you Content Manager and Organized Space updates. If you look at the agenda, I'm going to start this session with a brief recap for Tridion Docs 15.1. Then Andriy will continue by explaining different release vehicles of Tridion Docs. In the third session, we are going to mention you about what is new coming with the update 1. I will cover organized space and collective spaces, and Andriy will complete this bootcamp session by presenting you new privileges, platform support and component changes, installation and upgrade processes, and how we handle security. So we released Tridion Docs 15.1 this year in June, and with this release, we introduced many cool features, and I will briefly remind you what was in this version. First of all, our AI-powered knowledge hub, we call it as Genius, and it is different than the traditional content delivery tools because it's capable of connecting relevant information. So in today's complex businesses, for users, it's not always possible to complete a task with a single page of information. They need to find different pieces of information, synthesize them, and make decisions. And here, Genius helps them by suggesting relevant content. Users can use hexahopes to easily navigate to the related content. They can use search across all content available. And even better, they can use Trustable Chat to ask their questions. And Trustable Chat is a conversational AI tool that answers the questions, including giving references to the original content. We use power of AI also for our authors when they create new content, and we introduce Draft Companion as a paid feature in Draft Space. With these tools, authors can improve their content quality by using our predefined prompts, such as fix grammar and punctuation, or improve readability, or they can ask any question or give comments to the draft companion by using our chat functionality. And it's worth to mention that authors always have the full control over the changes. Basically, until they click apply, Draft Companion doesn't change the original content. We also worked for the more advanced technical authors, and to make them happy, we introduced Condition Builder in Draft Space. With this user-friendly model, authors can see all available conditions in the system. They can apply simple ones immediately, or in advanced mode, they can build complex conditions to apply into documents. And the last highlight is in Organized Space, which is the Publication Hub. And it helps collaboration in teamwork. Here, the publication captain, by adding publication version to the hub, they can create projects, and they can assign authors, reviewers, or SMEs into that publication version. And throughout the project, they can see the progress. And authors and reviewers, they can use Publication Hub as a dashboard where they can see what they need to work on. Also, they can use here as a jumping point to the related tools such as Draft and Review Space or Publication Manager. And when they complete their task, they can come back to here and sign off their works. So these were the highlights of the 15.1, but we delivered more. So as you can see, we introduced new features into client tools. We completed enablers of the 15.1 update 1. We worked on accessibility improvements. Also, we worked for better platform support and security. To get more information, you can always see our bootcamps. We connected 5 bootcamp series, and the videos are available under the RWS community website under Tridion Docs videos. Also under RWS community YouTube channel, Tridion Docs playlist. And if you don't have time to watch these videos, you can always visit RWS community website and read our blog post to get more information about how we develop our new features and how you can benefit from them. At this point, I would like to hand over to Andriy. He is going to explain you different release vehicles of Tridion Docs.
Thank you, Gizem, and thank you for a good recap for Tridion Docs 15.1, the highlights for the new nice features and the recordings and bootcamps that we have. So let me talk about the Tridion Docs release vehicles and what we are thinking about when we are shipping a new product release for the customers. We want to keep customers running on the stable and secure platform with recent product updates, updates on the third-party libraries, recent security updates, and platform updates. So we would like to deliver new installation media with all that latest product updates that has fully automated installation, including configuration updates and defaults that as a result gives a predictable customer environment. So currently Tridion Docs has major and minor releases that provides customers new features, platform updates. They also announce deprecations and obsolescence. Main difference between major and minor release is that obsolescence less likely will happen in the minor release. As an example, Tridion Docs 15.0 is a major release, 15.1 is a minor. We also have a vehicle to introduce fixes on top of a major or minor release that is called hotfix. It can be an urgent fixes reported via a CRQ process. It can be also a platform support changes or a proactive security updates. However, they are not always easy enough that everybody would install them. As an example, there are different dimensions and expectations for Tridion Docs server and database components. And usually even different personas having access to these components and should apply them. It's also important to mention client tools because hotfixes for them are quite difficult to deploy and on scale out custom environments. So all this brings a situation that sometimes customers are running on not predictable environments with different set of hotfixes. This introduces a risk for customers running on not the latest and greatest for professional services, for technical support, and for us R&D. The risk is around support and maintenance. Understanding the problem and the need, we introduce a new release vehicle called Update. Through updates, we will deliver recent product fixes, updates on the third-party libraries, recent security updates, and platform updates. This release vehicle is fully automated. That also includes configuration updates like plugin settings, background task settings, feature settings, or server-side file configurations like upsettings JSON file for translation organizer, for example. So this allows to run customers on latest and greatest with fixes, fixed security issues, exceptional functional improvements, as well as allows to correct cloud dependencies like AI or content delivery. So as a result, customer will have a predictable environments with no reason to not install a recent update. Updates are applicable to Tridion Docs product line for Content Manager server and client tools, and they can be delivered for versions of Tridion Docs 15.0, Tridion Docs 15.1, and further. And let's cover questions that might appear or might be valid for customers, technical support, professional services. So does this update release vehicle bring another upgrade cycle? As I said, updates are fully automated. That also includes configuration updates for like plugins or feature settings or server-side files. So installation of the update doesn't require a professional services engagement. So there should be no reason to not install a recent update. How often will updates be released? So release cadence will be planned based on a stack of released hotfixes for a major minor release. How will I know that there is an update? Sprint and PI demos will be used for internal audience. Release email, community blog posts, public documentation will be used to inform customers. How it will be delivered? Installation media will be delivered via regular release email with FTP location to download. What can I expect as update deliverables? So there will be a new HCD installation media build that holds latest fixes on this major minor release. It also includes a new MCI files for client tools. And there is also a new update package with delta changes that can be installed on top of existing installation, with also including new MCI installation media for client tools. On what version I can install the update? For Content Manager Server, update can be installed on top of GA installation or an earlier update package. For client tools, an earlier installation will be upgraded to the latest update release using the provided MCI files via regular uninstall install procedure. Can I skip installation of the update? Update release supersedes the previous release, so it means that all new hotfixes or SRQs will be delivered or handled on top of recent update release. How technical support and customers validate the update is installed. Version API calls and about screens will indicate that certain update is installed. With the new release vehicle in place, it's important to remind about compatibility for client tools versus Content Manager server versions. So the most important most important message, do not use client tools with lower release version on the newer Content Manager server version. Client tools with the same or higher release version are supported to work on the same or lower Content Manager server version. But please note that the new features in client tools might not work with the older CM server because they will be hidden by a feature flag. This platform matrix explains support for compatibility for client tools versus server version. So as you can see for this example, so let's take a look on this part. So for this part, all released versions of client tools for 15.0 major release either delivered via hotfix or via an update are supported on all released versions of Content Manager Server released either via hotfix or via an update. Also to support cases when customers are upgrading client tools before the server. So I'm talking about this bit, yellow one. Client tools with newer released version will work with a content manager server of older version. However, as I mentioned before, new functionality in client tools might not work since it will be disabled via feature flags. And again, client tools with lower released versions are not supported on the newer content manager server. So this is a red part example. So moving on, let's talk about Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1 and what it will ship as deliverables. As I said already, for new installations, there will be new ishcd installation media build that holds latest fixes on Tridion Docs 15.1 software release, and also holds new MCIs for client tools. There will be also update package as part of the deliverables with the delta changes that can be installed on top of existing 15.1 installation with a new MCI installation media for client tools. Update package will have scripts to install web application server updates and separate one for applying database changes. And again, the reminder, and as it was mentioned before, updates are fully automated. That also includes configuration updates like plugin settings or feature settings, and as well as server-side configuration files. Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1 is a mandatory release, and all SRQs or hotfixes will require from customers to have the update 1 to be installed. So we did announce Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1 as a new type of release vehicle. And now let's see what is a part of this latest release. And with this, I would like to hand over to Gizem.
Thank you, Andriy. So I will start covering with the organized space changes. So in organized space, the superstar of the update 1 is the metrics feature. So with this update, the metrics tab will become visible to the admin user role, also the users which has metrics management privilege. So as you can see in the screenshot, under the metrics tab, user will see 3 different charts. First one is the topic reuse chart. In this chart, it shows number of times topics were added to publication over time and the percentage of those times the added topics were used. So basically, the department managers can use this chart to see the reuse percentage system-wide or maybe per department, so they can decide which part of the organization needs some improvement in reuse. In the second chart, we display return on investment for the source content. So basically, this chart shows for each time increment the estimated cost of with content reuse and without content reuse. Also, there's a trend line, as you can see, and it displays the incremental accumulation of the cost difference, the return on investment over time. So again, the department managers can use this information to justify their investment into Tridion Docs. So they can use this chart while talking with their upper managers or the budgeting team. And the last chart is the publishing activity, and it shows the volume of publishing activity over the selected period of time. And for each period, the chart shows the total number of publishing actions for the selected outpost. So the admin users can see the productivity of the system to decide the timelines or the resourcing or the similar things. There will be a special bootcamp session for metrics conducted by Andriy Zhidko. So in this session, he is going to explain you the details of the solution architecture, reuse calculations, and the all possible use cases. Please don't miss that bootcamp session. And we introduced Gridview with this update to the organized space. And we worked on this feature because we have customers, especially in the manufacturing business. They name their images with some codes or numbers. And for them, in the folder view with a table, it's very difficult to select a right image. Basically, they need to preview each images one by one to be able to show. So to overcome this hassle, we introduced Gridview, and now users can see the preview of the all images at once. As an enabler in the 15.1 release, we already released the grid resolution field, which is under the settings, system default settings part, and it is set to low by default. So as you can see from the screenshots, now in Explore view, search, inboxes, and the item selector model, we support the grid view. There is a switcher where user can switch from table view to grid view. And as you can see, they see the images. And if there are different object types, we display the different icons for each of them. And if we are not able to preview the image, we use special placeholder images for them. We also worked on accessibility improvements in organized space, and we improved different part of the organized space feature. Let's start with the action toolbar accessibility improvements. So we decided to work on this based on customer feedback because in 15 in organized space, basically we have the action toolbar with the icons, but these buttons, they don't have labels. Also in the crowded menus, like in this example in the screenshot, so basically there are many buttons without label and the icons are small and some of them look very similar to each other, and altogether it makes difficult for user to select the right one quickly. To overcome this, we introduce labels next to the icons. Also, to manage the space more efficiently, we grouped similar actions under groups. For example, under generate report, user can reach all different reports. And when they use the smaller screens, the buttons move under the more button, but here they can also see all the actions together with their icons and labels. We did an improvement also in our item selector model. So this model is used when user needs to add a map or resource to a publication, or when they add a publication to the publication hub. Also, it's possible to be used by the custom UI extensions. So previously, user need to follow the whole folder and subfolder path to select what they desired. But with the locate functionality, if they know the identifier of the object, they can basically search it and immediately find it. And the last one is the alphabetical ordering in XML settings tab. While we are introducing new features, the number of tabs under the XML settings has been increasing accordingly. So previously it was alphabetically ordered only for the English language. Now this order is applied to all languages. I want to also mention the collective spaces. So in previous release, we introduced review resolution under XML settings collective spaces tab. So the problem was that, especially for very detailed technical drawings, our reviewers would like to see the images in greater detail. So organize collective spaces uses the preview resolution for the preview, but we introduce review resolution so that if for specific cases or some customers wants to see the images in greater detail, they can enable this review resolution and upload higher resolution images to the system so that the collective spaces use this resolution of images for the preview. So in terms of the UX, we added view image in review resolution action under the contextual menu of the images. Basically, when they right click on the top of the image, they will see this action, and when they click it, collective spaces will preview the image in an additional browser tab with the review resolution, so that the reviewers can easily see the minor details in the image. I would like to do a demo to show you what I explained. So I'm going to log in as an admin to be able to show you metrics step. So as I told you, the metrics tab is visible for admin users or the users with metrics privileges. So here we have the three charts. So user can play the data of these charts, whether by selecting different periods or the different products under here. So in the first chart, we display the topic reuse. So if you focus on one column, you can see the number of new and reuse topic number, also the percentage of the reuse. And by using the front-end filter, you can see only new ones, only reuse ones, or all together. And under the return on investment, so we display a comparison between the cost without reuse and the cost with reuse. Also, this is a trend line of the return on investment, which is increasing because it's the accumulation of the ROE. And the last part, we display the publishing activity, and with different statuses, draft, release candidate, and release. Also, yeah, as you can see, when I hover over the column, we display the numbers for each statuses. Also, user basically can select the different outputs. Basically, if I select PDF, so I'll see only the number for the selected output formats. So if I move to the other improvements, starting with the grid view, as I said, we introduced grid resolution under the settings and default settings, and it is defined by law. By default, it's low, but it's changeable. Basically, customers can arrange it accordingly. And if I come back to structure content, I wanna find a folder with images. So if I go, I'm sorry, Tridion Docs Content Use. So here I have the graphic folders. As you can see, there are many images. And with table view, user needs to preview each of them before selecting. But with the grid view, we display the preview of the images altogether. So there are icons, diagrams, or charts. They can see it here. And as you can see, if there's a folder, we use specific icons for different things. And of course, anytime if they are not sure about what to select, they can select and use the existing preview functionality to see the further details inside of it. So this view is supported in the Explore view, also in boxes and the searches. In search, also I believe it's useful. For example, I write something, a generic keyword. As you can see, there are many different type of objects returned. They can click image and they can move to the grid view to see the difference of the images. As I told you, if the image image format is not supported, then we display a specific placeholder for that. Also, it's started in the item selector model. Let's say I will add the image to the resource of this publication. So the resources are added with the item selector model, and this model also supports Gridview. See, if I go to graphics, I can see the image preview here. And I mentioned as a part of the accessibility improvement that we improved the item selector model by adding the locate functionality here. So basically, if user knows the identifier of the object, let's say I will add a conref library topic and I know it, by pasting the identifier here, I can easily find it. So here, and add it to the publication. Another accessibility improvements is about the action toolbar. So I selected a publication, which is kind of, we have many buttons usually in here. So as you can see, we added labels. Also, we reviewed all the tooltips to give you more information with the tooltips. And to use the space better, we grouped similar actions such as open in different tools or generate different reports here. So if you go one level detail, as you can see, similar approach is also taken here. And the last one I want to show you about the collective spaces. I mentioned you about the review resolution. So I prepared test data for that. But before, I want to show you the settings part. So under the XML settings and the collective spaces, you will see the review resolution settings, which is actually commented. Okay. Okay, here. So under the common settings, as you can see, review resolution is there. But now it's not used, it's commented. So it means that if I go to content and open my publication in, let's say, review space, so I explained to you that the view image and review resolution action is added to contextual menu. So I can click that one to preview the image. But since the review resolution is not enabled yet, so it uses a preview resolution, which is low. So even if I zoom in, as you can see, I'm not able to read what's written that. So I need a higher resolution of the images. So what's possible? Basically, user first enable review resolution, and of course upload to higher resolution of the images. So I define it as a high resolution, and in the repository we have another image. We have higher resolution of the image there. So if I refresh the review space, so here it's still the preview resolution, so it's not readable. But now when I open the preview, it uses a higher resolution so that the reviewers can see the greater details of the images while doing their review. And lastly, the minor thing I mentioned to you that the alphabetical order is applied for all languages, and this is where I'm mentioning this part. And this is the end of my demo. Andriy, I can hand over to you.
Thank you, Gizem. So let me continue with privileges. So let's take a look on the new privilege that we introduced as part of Tridion Docs 15.1. Yeah, just a reminder that the notion of privileges first was introduced in Tridion Docs 15 release, and it allows to determine whether certain functionality is available for a group of users. You can set the privileges on a user roles. So this is a summary table of privileges that with new ones that were added as part of 15.1 release. They are at the bottom and highlighted. So there are, as you can see, there are 3 new privileges that we introduced. One for publication hub feature, highlight for which was mentioned today by Gizem. In case you're interested more about this, please use provided links in the presentation for blog post or recording. So this is a project management privilege that determines whether a user is allowed to manage publication hub projects. Another privilege is for metrics feature that we'll be talking on the separate metrics bootcamp. So this metrics management privilege determines whether a user is allowed to view and manage metrics. And last but not least is used for taxonomy management. So taxonomy management privilege determines whether a user is allowed to view and manage taxonomies that can be used for content classification. So let's take a look on the platform support. So on this slide, we want to highlight alignment between our releases and our release policies and partners release policies on which we are relying on. In our releases, we are using long-term support releases from the vendors that we are using in the product. For .NET, for example, from Microsoft, that means 3 years of support after the initial release. For Java, from Oracle, they release long-term support releases every 3 years with 6 years of support for each. But the main takeaway from this slide is that Tridion Docs 14 SP4, Tridion Docs 14 SP3, and previous releases for Tridion Docs 14 release cycle are close to the end of support date. So in case you didn't upgrade to the latest release, please contact your account manager or a customer support. So again, I'm showing you the current supported releases and what the one that was ended the support date already. So Tridion Docs 14 SP3 was the last release before we applied a policy for short term, that is 2 years, and long term, that is 3 years release cycles. The release date for SP3 was end of November 2020. So 2 years of full support plus 2 years of limited brings us to the December 2024. Tridion Docs 14 SP4 was a long-term support release. It was released in November 2021. So 3 years of support cycle bring us to December 2024. So as I said, in case you didn't upgrade yet, please contact your account manager or a customer support. Tridion Docs 15.0, it's a long-term support release and fully supported until July 2026. Tridion Docs 15.1, as well as released update 1 on top of that. It's a short-term support release. And that's fully supported until July 2026. For brand new features like Draft Companion and Genius, Gizem already provided you highlights as well as information where you can get more information about these features. she also talked about new improvements and enhancements for publication manager, organized space, and others. All of this can be, you can learn more from the bootcamps and blogs that was shared already before in this in this presentation. What I would like to highlight on this slide is deprecation and obsolescence parts. So introduction of modern authentication with access management feature deprecates secure token service. We also deprecate SMX SOAP with authentication context and WCF SOAP with WCF trust. Supported API endpoints are WCF SOAP with OpenID Connect and OpenAPI with OpenID Connect. You can learn more about new OpenAPI by watching a separate bootcamp recording that was highlighted today in the presentation. We did obsolete Tridion Sites taxonomy connector. There are options to use semantic AI offering and new taxonomy management capabilities that you can learn about from client tools, generative AI architecture, metrics, and platform support bootcamp that was mentioned today as well. So I will quickly go through the platform matrix changes. So we do support Windows Server 2022 and Windows Server 2019. For Microsoft SQL Server, we do support SQL Server 2022 and SQL Server 2019. For Oracle database, we support Oracle 19. For translation management systems, we do support translation management, so TMS version 12 and version 11 is deprecated. For World Server, we support version 11 and minor versions for that as well. And we do support Trados Enterprise. For Java, we do support Eclipse Timorin 21 and 17, and for Oracle Java 21 and 17 versions. For browsers, we do support Microsoft Edge based on the Chromium driver, Chrome, Firefox, and we are not supporting Internet Explorer anymore. Solar version 9.4.1 is supported. In terms of .NET framework, .NET full framework 4.8 is supported, and .NET 8 hosting bundle is supported. I would like also to highlight main component changes comparing to Tridion Docs 15 release. For more information, please refer to the client tools, generative AI, architecture, metrics, and platform support bootcamp that was mentioned earlier before. So since Tridion Docs 15.1, we introduced a new mandatory database, IshMT. It holds all data required for metrics charts. It has a maintenance job for calculation, maintenance, and data cleanup. And you can learn more about it during the dedicated metrics bootcamp that I will be presenting. There is also a new metrics web service with a private REST API that is used for metrics feature. Again, please watch a separate metrics bootcamp to learn more about this. Let's cover installation and upgrade part for Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1. So as mentioned before, as part of Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1, we will ship new ishcd and update package. So let's cover the new ishcd part, so installation and upgrade using it. So in case you have a fresh installation with Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1, you need to restore your CM database and create databases with PowerShell scripts that are access management database, backend for front-end applications database that is used by BFF backend for front-end layer by our web clients like Organized Space and Collective Spaces, the Tridion Docs Identity Provider database, and as I said, Metrics is a new mandatory database. In case you're upgrading to Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1, you need to upgrade Content Manager database with DBAT. For customers that are upgrading specifically from Tridion Docs 15 version, they need to use upgrade access management script with PowerShell. For all other versions from which customers might be upgrading, they need to create new databases with PowerShell scripts. So that was mentioned already. So it's access management database, backend or front-end database, Tridion Docs Identity Provider database, and Metrics database. Please make sure that .NET 8 hosting bundle is installed and database upgrades are supported from 2016 SP4. And now let's also cover customers that are already running Tridion Docs 15.1 and they are updating to the update 1 version. Let's cover separately single server setup and multi-server setup. Yeah, important to mention, also did it before, that installation of the update is fully automated, and as part of the update package, you will get scripts to update a web application server and database. So in case you have single server setup, you will need first to stop each deployment. You will need to update web application server by running update each web app server script. And then you need to update databases by running update each database PowerShell script. There is an example that is shown on this slide. It shows you that the script is using the session with a content manager server, so it is using API. And why it is used? Because, as I said, we are updating and handling configuration updates as part of the update database script. In case you have scaled out setup with multiple servers, you need to first stop all your each deployments. You need to update all web application servers except one. So you need to run this update each web app server with a specific parameter, skip start each deployment. It will give you a possibility. It gives a possibility to not start the deployment of that server that was updated already. You need to update the last web application server by running update each web app server PowerShell script. Why it is not why you should not use skip start each deployment for it? Because, as I said before, as part of the so update database script is using connection to the API, and you need to have at least one server that is running, so at least so the connection can be made to update the configurations in context of the database. So as I said, like you're updating the last web application server, then you're updating the database, and there is an example, and I already mentioned that for database update script, you need to have a connection to API, and after that you are starting your each deployments for other web application servers. So security. Update release vehicles share the same security policy as short-term support releases and long-term support releases. It includes recent security fixes for the product and third-party components. When all builds are green according to the security policy that is set, you are receiving Veracode verified badge. So on the Veracode website, you can verify that Tridion Docs has a badge. Let me also mention a new issue mode that was released. So new issue mode version 8.1 was released. It contains required changes for add issue background task commandlet that is used in synchronized metrics script that is used to support metrics feature with initial data synchronization. You can learn more about this script and the metrics feature by watching a dedicated metrics bootcamp. More details about issue mode you can get from a community blog that is mentioned here and release notes on the GitHub. So we did talk about Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1. So what is in as a summary for it? So these slides show you a full set of features that are available as part of Tridion Docs 15.1 update 1. With green, we highlighted features that are released as part of update 1. So secured content offering for Tridion Docs Genius that you can learn about by watching dedicated bootcamp. Gridview and accessibility improvements in organized space and review resolution in collective spaces that were demoed during this bootcamp. And last but not least, the metrics feature that also has corresponding bootcamp. With this, I would like to thank you for attending our bootcamp session. Thank you all.